r/AskReddit. What golden nugget of information or facts you have to share? A scorpion can hold its breath for 6 days, so don't think drowning it will help you out of your scorpion problem. So I flooded my house for no reason? Damn. Just keep flooding it continuously for a week. And on the 7th day, God finally managed to drown that ducking scorpion. I can attest to this. When I was a young lad, my father brought a scorpion home from a mission trip as a sort of spooky gift for me. The thing was fully submerged in alcohol and lived for probably 5 or 6 days. It freaked me out so much to think it was watching me while I slept that I threw it away, jar and all. Duck scorpions. Please do not duck scorpions. Even if you aren't willing to give mouth to mouth on an unconscious person, chest compressions alone greatly increase their odds of survival. In case others wondered why, the circulatory system will still have amounts of oxygen that can be circulated to the brain via compression, which can make the difference. Also because chest compressions naturally push air in and out of your lungs if you're doing them right. If bees were paid the minimum wage, a jar of honey would cost about $200,000. This is the setup for the plot of Bee Movie. Is this all we are? Honey slaves for the white man? For an garment to be labeled made in USA, the process only needs to be started and finished in America. In the case of a certain ladies' underwear line, the material is cut in USA, shipped overseas for assembly, then shipped back to America, where a seamstress sews a made in USA tag on the item. It's crazy how it's cheaper to send clothing across the world to be assembled than it is to just do it domestically. Using what's basically free slave labor and going to countries with no EPA or equivalent, it's basically free besides raw materials and transportation. In a first world country, you'd have to pay every single employee minimum wage, follow strict labor laws, have hundreds of permits and certifications for bigger corporations etc. A moose can run 40 miles per hour, that's 64 kilometers per hour, through 6 foot, that's 2 meters, deep snow. When choking on food and can't get help, you can get into a push-up position and then just drop down. The ground hitting your stomach and chest will cause what you're choking on to dislodge. Edit. Someone has commented to explain that this was created by a fireman, not something that firemen necessarily do. Why firemen? Are these folks running into buildings holding a corn dog, or what? There's a video I saw of a guy doing this move, and then, completely serious, he said, "If you're pregnant, you cannot do this," and I bursted out laughing. Now I will always remember how to save myself if I'm choking. The first president of Zimbabwe was President Banana. It was also illegal to joke about his name in Zimbabwe, so the foreign press used to joke about his name more. If you were caught though, you were locked up with no chance for appeal. Speaking of golden nuggets of information, goldfish lose their color if they are kept in dim light or are placed in a body of running water, such as a stream. Also, goldfish actually get very large and live for a very long time, but most people don't care for them properly and end up suffocating them in ammonia. Yep. We kept goldfish in a huge water tank for our horses, and they lived for like 12 years and got huge. I had a heart transplant 5 years ago. When your heart is replaced, the surgeon has to cut the main nerve that gets the signal from the brain to beat and or increase the intensity of the beat. Without this vagus nerve, your new heart has no regulation and pumps blood out of habit. You no longer have a fight or flight response and your new heart beats at 90 plus beats a minute. That is terrifying. So if you get nervous, your heart doesn't race? Right. I have no internal regulation over my heart rate. My new heart beats purely from muscle memory. I can't think about it for too long because it's just too freaky. There are about 60,000 characters in the Mandarin language. A very literate person will know 20,000. The average person from 5,000 to 10,000. If uneducated, around 3,000. I don't know any, so I guess I'm ducking stupid. I met a German girl who had studied Mandarin in university. She said she knew about 6,000 characters, which was about enough for her to read the newspaper. Which one? The German paper. The main reason we stop doing something we love is because we forget our love of doing it for enjoyment's sake and replace it with a desire to be good at it. You've inspired me. I should go tune up my guitar and get back to playing. I enjoyed it, I was decent, and I should enjoy being decent at it rather than good or great. Artillery was responsible for over 70% of combat casualties in both world wars. And 4% of the sand on the beaches of Normandy are still made up of shrapnel. That is mind-blowing. Really drives the point home how it must have been hell on earth. Each one of the Yamato-class battleship's main gun turrets weighed over 3,000 tons, heavier than the average US destroyer. If you were on a destroyer in the US Navy during World War II, you ran the risk of having to fight a ship whose primary weapons alone displace more weight than your entire vessel. And the reason for this is that the Japanese Navy had heavy restrictions from the West on how big their navy could be before the start of World War II. So to compensate for this, they built the biggest battleships the world had ever seen. Horses have a massive blind spot on the front and back of their body. If you are ever around a tame horse, keep a hand on their body while walking around them. This lets it know where you are at all times and decreases chances of kicking out of shock or fear. This also prevents them from kicking you with as much force. You need to stay very close to them for the full benefit. This is similar with goats, as they instinctively fight things coming head on and should be approached from the sides. The earth wobbles really slowly like a spinning top. It takes about 26,000 years to come full circle. In the process, the northern star changes. This is called precession. If you see a job you really want, but aren't quite qualified for, apply anyway. Don't tell yourself no, make them tell you no. You might be pleasantly surprised. Both my son and daughter followed this advice and got a job that turned into a career. As a manager who hires people, yes, apply for everything you're reasonably competent for, even if you can't check all the boxes. Most of what I look for is experience and practical application of knowledge, skills, and tools. Even so, I'm aware that many aspects can be taught easily and quickly. We are also looking for general intelligence and character, good mindset and work ethic. I manage the engineering department at my company. Even people applying for design, manufacturing, or whatever we happen to be looking for generally are not applying with a specific degree. There's a ton of overlap. Heck, what I even went to school for, I've barely used, not have really been hired on specially for. Airline ops guy here. If you check in a bag at an airport with an hour or less before departure, it has a 50/50 shot of making it on the plane. Just like the TSA line, bag security can back up too. I regularly see 30+ minute in screening statuses on bags. Then, it may be pulled for a hand screening and search. This is random and TSA doesn't care when the flight leaves. So now we are at about 25 minutes to departure and your bag has only just now entered the sort system. It will take another 5 to 10 minutes to sort out to the person who loads carts with bags. Here, the problem is that there may be 7 to 10 other flights coming off of the same conveyor belt. They have to see your bag's tag out of maybe 50 other bags, so let's assume another 5 minutes. Your flight's bag cart was delivered plane-side at an hour before departure. It is now 15 minutes to departure. The bag room has seen your bag and has it on the back of a tug racing to the plane. 7 minutes before departure the baggage compartments are closed and total weights are being submitted. Your bag has missed the airplane. So I should check in late So my bag might be delayed, and I can claim on my insurance $200 for new clothes? Actually, yes. I checked in late for a flight last year and my bag didn't make the plane. I had to buy new clothes and was reimbursed by the airline. Got a cute new swimsuit. I don't recommend this though. It took days for my bag to find its way to me and made the start of a vacation quite stressful. If you ever have a baseball bat and need to use it as a weapon, put a sock over it so if someone tries to disarm you, they just slide off the sock. Time out, time out, time out. I need to run home to get a sock first apparently. Please wait here. I'll be right back. Teenagers' ribcages aren't fully formed. If you get a stabbing pain in your lower side, it means the unformed cartilage moved and hit a nerve. If this happens to you, try not to breathe heavily as it irritates it more. I still get these and I'm 24. I'm guessing it's an inflammation then. Do you have any other side effects? Nope, just occasional stabbing pains that convince me to WebMD self-diagnose, and I never like those results, haha. Everything on WebMD says cancer is an option. Chest pains could be cancer. Leg hurts could be cancer. Bad fuel economy in a 99 Dodge Ram, well yeah, that's cancer. If you carry a baseball bat in your vehicle for self-defense, also carry a baseball glove, even if you don't play baseball. Your lawyer will appreciate it. Today I learned, put a sock on my baseball bat and carry a baseball glove as well. On the timeline of human history, the ancient Egyptians lived as close to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans lived to us today. The reason that they did not teach about the Aztec Empire for Oxford's first few hundred years was twofold. The Americas had not been discovered, and the Aztec Empire had not been founded. That's the exact same reason the local junior college doesn't have the Mars colony in their curriculum yet. The Grey Rock treatment is an incredibly useful method of dealing with narcissists and toxic people. If such a person is going at you verbally or behaviorally, screaming or posturing or trying to fight, become like a grey rock in a river. No reaction, don't answer, no movement, just sit calmly and let the stream of crazy flow past you. Bonus points if you can stare blankly. When people thrive on causing a reaction, they absolutely cannot compute when they get no reaction. If you're in physical danger, obviously react to keep yourself safe, but don't argue, explain, or defend verbally. You'll never change a narcissist's mind. It's just walking on a treadmill. I accidentally discovered this a couple of days ago. I work in healthcare, and for the past several weeks we've had an increasing number of people frustrated with the pandemic, complaining about wearing a mask, being allowed to go some places but not others, etc. I had tried to explain flattening the curve, keeping numbers in the ICU manageable, using logic and science to explain the why behind the stay-at-home orders. I convinced exactly 0 people and only aggravated myself. Yesterday I was just tired, so when patients came in complaining about the situation, I just didn't say anything and let them vent their spleen. Eventually they stopped talking and changed the subject on their own. People often underestimate how big a billion actually is. An easy way to conceptualize it is to think of it in terms of seconds. 1 million seconds ago was 12 days ago. 1 billion seconds ago was 1987. What's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion? About a billion. A single spaghetti noodle is called a spaghetto. I thought a spaghetto was a place where poor Italians lived. Caterpillars are physically unable to burp. Thank Duck for that, can you imagine? I don't know dude, I think the world would be a much better place if caterpillars could burp. A 30 minutes walk every day decreases the percent of you getting dementia. I keep meaning to do that but always forget. If your older parents/grandparents are suddenly acting strange, get them checked for a UTI. In older people, UTIs can cause a psychotic or delusional episode. What are the chances my parents have both had UTIs for 20 years? Even though you have a VPN, it doesn't necessarily keep you hidden if skilled people wanted to find you. There are many things that can leak your IP that you have to isolate and fix, such as IPv6 leaks, DNS leaks, and WebRTC leaks. Also, every ad you add to your browser, it gives you a unique fingerprint that can lead back to you. You're not as secure as you think. Joke's on you, I used incognito mode. In the 16th century, Turkish women could initiate a divorce if their husbands didn't pour coffee for them.